What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I've got a great video for you today. Glenn Hutchins is a very important person out here in the space. He's been in the fintech space for like 20 years. He was investing in fintech before fintech was cool. And he is at this, it looks like he's at this Jackson Hole retreat, and they're talking about technology. They're talking about blockchain. And he's laying it out here, and I have a couple clips. We're going to go through them. This is going to be a really cool video. If you don't know who Glenn Hutchins is, you're gonna love this, right? The Ripple protocol. All right, so let's get into this. But first, hey guys, if you're new to the channel or you've been here a few times and you're not subscribed, please help me out. We're trying to push our way to 14,000 subscribers this month. I know there's only a couple days left, but with your help, we might be able to do that. And if you refer somebody to the channel and they subscribe, make sure they comment down below and let me know who sent them. That way you can qualify for this giveaway that we have. All right. Also, guys, if you want help in the crypto space, we do have Cryptonaires. We do have Cryptonaires here, guys. A lot of information. We do have other people that do different calls. We got William. We got Rayon. Rayon and William have had so many 100x, not 100% returns in the last 2 or 3 months. There's been like 20 or 30 guys. The Discord's really on fire. Up to you to sign up, guys. Links down in the description. We have a 7-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it. All right, let's get it. So Glenn Hutchins right here, man. This is the man, the myth, right? Menlo Park, California, where all this stuff goes, right? Check us out. All right, so he's going to break this down, and then I have some other clips to play after.
Well, first about the ledger, and then secondly about the blockchain, and secondly about the currency. The blockchain has 2 important features to it.
Okay, he's teaching these men, or these men and women around this table. All these are bankers and important people trying to put all these pieces in place. He's going to explain to them, you can't have one without the other. You can't have the blockchain and the ledger without the token, because that is the gas for the network. Listen.
One is a protocol for the
word.
Too many people are focused on the ledger piece of it, which is useful. Not enough people are focused on the technological piece, the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin analog to the internet protocol. And that's the part that's going to, if this is going to be transformative, that's going to be the thing that we're going to most experience.
Barry, that's what you meant when you talked about the rails.
Yeah, exactly right.
The rails.
And it's not just, and what you're going to say is, it's not just the regulators who are going to resist this. It's going to be the people with legacy pools of profitability who don't want those to go away.
True.
So the banks and the credit card companies in particular are going to be the biggest resistors of this.
Yep.
They're dipping their toe in with private blockchains, which I call grandma's version of the Bitcoin.
How do you really feel, Glenn?
Hey, tells it how it is. I love it.
They're going to be the big resistors. So one of the most important things about this Fed work on payments, in my view, is take a $100 transaction. The average credit card company takes $2 from you.
Okay, now listen to this. He's going to lay out why the move to blockchain is important. He's going to lay out how much it costs to send a payment and do things in this current system. And he mentions Bitcoin here, guys, but he's really not talking about Bitcoin. But we'll play it through, and then I'll give you that context.
If you write it back,
15 cents.
7.5 cents. Is that right?
15.
Roughly, no, it's 15 cents. 7.5 per. It's 0.75%, right? So it's 15 cents. So today, the reason if we modernize ACH and make it available for instant payments, we can take the average cost of a transaction down from a $100 transaction from $2 to 15 cents. Guess who doesn't want that to happen? It's not the regulators. It's American Express. And then if you further take that 15 cents down to a thousandth of a cent using Bitcoin technology, you can transform the cost of moving things around. So there's going to be a bunch of legacy people out there who don't want this to happen, not just in the regulatory community. The last thing I will say, the 2 things. One is the private ledger is equivalent to the intranet. Remember when we first had intranets and you could all of a sudden send this thing called email around your office, but if you wanted to go out of your office, you had to use FedEx or mail. And that was good because you collaborated with people you worked with, but it didn't transform things until everybody was connected in a seamless World Wide Web. And so to think that we can just have the private blockchain and use that makes the banks happy because they get their costs down, but their legacy profitability pools that moving money around the world aren't endangered that way. So I wouldn't listen much to that kind of stuff. The other thing I say to people is that for the regulators to think about Bitcoin as a currency, i.e. as a gold equivalent. I'm not sure I like the oil analogy. I think a better analogy is copper. In other words, I think the way to think about the Bitcoin currency is more as copper rather than as gold.
Damn, Glenn Hutchins. Bitcoin, not digital gold, it's digital copper, right? Gold, then you got like platinum, then you got silver, then you got bronze, then you got copper. He went with copper. Just want to lay that out for you.
People mine, people speculate.
Well, mine too, and silver, but he went with copper. I love this guy.
But its fundamental use is to move either electricity or voice messages around. It carries something that we use, and that's what the Bitcoin currency unit is, a means by which, I think the metaphor is to transfer that value. And so you can't have the system work without the Bitcoin token moving around, just as the way it doesn't work without the ledger, just the way it doesn't work without all moving around. So the way to think about the Bitcoin is an industrial metal that is the modern equivalent of the wiring that makes the system work, and they all have to work together to deliver that piece. So you can't have one without the other, but it's less important as a store of value and more important as a means by which it all hangs together.
So this is him sitting with Brad Garlinghouse. This was years ago, but it's still very relevant. Let me play this.
You can actually take that $10 trillion and use it for other purposes, which is great for society. It's great for banking. It's great for industry. So that's what we're trying to rewire. We're lucky to now have about 200 banks that have signed up, but we've got a long way to go.
Glenn, talk to me about your thinking when you're looking to
Here he is.
invest in these crypto companies. I know Arbor, Ripple, Circle, these are some of your investments that
Yeah, so Glenn, early investor into Ripple.
you've made. What do you think about when you're thinking about investing?
So Ted Turner once said that he was into cable before cable was cool, and I was into fintech before fintech was cool.
There you go.
I've been investing at the intersection of financial services and technology for more than 20 years. My investments included companies like NASDAQ and Ameritrade, companies I helped to start from scratch.
Damn. That's who this is, guys. It's very important, and he knows all about this, and people listen to him. That's why it's important. And I'm going to show you the connections back to Ripple, right? He knows very well it's not going to be Bitcoin.
One, we haven't been able to disrupt. One pool of profitability was what you were referring to, Edith, which is the payment space. Which is today, so one of my investments is a company called Virtu. There's a high-frequency market maker. We trade securities around the world at the speed of light for less than penny spreads. That penny spread is 1 to 1.5% the price it took to do stock transactions 20 years ago. So we've taken the price down by 98.5 to 99%. Over that same time period, it still costs 2% of every credit card payment you do, 5% of every FedEx transaction, 5 to 7% of every remittance, much less getting into payday loans and the financial services fees of the unbanked and the disadvantaged. It's a scandal. There's a massive pool of legacy property in the payment space that we can disrupt. So what I'm looking for are companies that can take the price of transacting down by that same 90-some%.
Yep.
That's how I get to it. I think that I've tried to find that for a long time. I think the digital currency solution is the first thing I've looked at and said we have the potential to do that. Like Brad said earlier, when you send an email out today, you don't think about the underlying technology you're using. You're not using a TCP/IP or an SMTP company. You're using an email. But every time you send an email, you use those protocols to send the email out. Just like in the early 2000s, when we were building the underlying technology layer, the enabling platforms, enabling infrastructure, on top of which we put the applications companies. That's what's going on right now in the digital currency kind of space. So you can hear us talk about a lot of confusing things about what protocol, what token, what technology solution, how many transactions per second. But eventually what's going to happen is you're going to put something of value in, something of value is going to come out the other side, and you're not going to care what the underlying technology is. And that's when you know we're successful.
Yep. All right. So, and then I got this clip too. This is him talking. Excuse me. The SEC Fireside Chat. Federal Reserve Bank of New York board member Glenn Hutchins discusses a World Wide Web blockchains fundamentally changed the way we move value.
Intranets do with people in your own companies, but it wasn't really until those intranets were connected via the internet protocol to other intranets to create the World Wide Web of intranets called the internet that the world changed. The world is going to change in finance when we connect the private blockchains via the Bitcoin or Ethereum or other protocol to the other blockchains in the world. Have a global blockchain that's the World Wide Web of blockchains that will fundamentally change the way in which
the global blockchain, the World Wide Web of blockchain. Isn't Ripple, didn't they gift Interledger Protocol to the W3C, which is the World Wide Web Consortium?
Speed of light, but also which we actually fundamentally change the way in which we compute, because it's the fourth computing paradigm I've experienced in my lifetime, the decentralized computing paradigm. That is the vision of where we can really go with this. That's transformational. Now, the first step will be the intranets, the blockchains. but that's not the end point. That's just the first step.
All right, and then we're gonna finish off with this one right here. This is the good one.
I go through. You just make use of the technology, and the protocols make it work. The people who really understand what's going on with digital currencies understand that putting these protocols in place, the blockchain protocol, the Ethereum protocol, the XR,
The Ripple protocol.
the Ripple protocol, the Ripple protocol, and then enabling those protocols to cause transactions to occur. And then those transactions can be defined very broadly as not just moving things of value, but anything that's got an information content is extraordinarily transformative. The focus on the value of the token is distracting and uninformative.
The focus on the value of the token is distracting and informative. So Crypto already put this out. Ripple has 30 money transfer licenses in the United States for 30 different states. Here's it: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Delaware, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi. I'm trying to do an accent soon. It's pretty horrible. Missouri, Mexico, New Mexico, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Utah, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. So anyways, there are 30 or 31 right now. Ripple already controls like 90 to 95% of the FX market. That's where $6 to $7 trillion are moved across the world for different things, right? You can see Ripple is making a play to be able to not only provide in 50 states in the United States, because maybe I do think when you look at what happened is going on with Palau and that stable coin on the public XRP ledger, I think that is a broader test for the United States. I think the US is looking at that like, hey, we can try this stable coin in another country. It's not going to affect the US, but we can pay attention to how that develops and how that changes, or what changes happen in that society because of this CBDC, because of this US dollar CBDC. And when we get close, guys, it's not going to be Bitcoin. It's never going to be Bitcoin. And now you're seeing people, man, I don't know why my what's called doesn't want to work for me, but check this out. This is from Christine Lagarde a long time ago. Listen to what she says, because she used to be the head of the IMF. Now she's the head of the European Central Bank, and people listen to Christine Lagarde, and she knows what's about to happen here.
Funny business, and this is a week in...
Well, first of all, I think it is not a currency. I'm very sorry to say. I know that some people argue that it has two attributes of the three that constitute a valid currency, but I think it doesn't. It might have one, it certainly doesn't have two. And it doesn't have the stability that would be required in order for it to be a currency. It is, in our view and in our analysis of what it is today, it's a digital asset, it's a crypto asset. It's one that was established back in 2009 by libertarians and the hopeful of a completely decentralized universe that would be completely anonymous. I think it has in many ways been exploited in a funny way. Yes, I claim that character.
I can't resist. There's a question from a subscriber, Harry, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. How likely are the world central banks to hold Bitcoin as part of their reserve currency?
Never.
Very unlikely. I think I would say it's out of the question, actually.
You tell me. I'm not against Bitcoin, guys. I think it's going to do really well when the spot ETFs come in. It's going to rally, but I think it's going to rally the whole market. And I'm looking for other sources and other things that I think are going to do better than maybe like a 10, 15x that Bitcoin's going to do. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Some of it's a history lesson, but these conversations that are going on, this guy knows all about what the best protocol to use for payments are. Now, he can't say openly in this meeting with all these people that, hey, we should just use XRP and Ripple, but he's an early investor and he knows. So when the cameras are off and they're having a conversation behind the scenes, he knows what is going on and what people should be focused on. The underlying protocol, the Ripple protocol, the XRP protocol. All right. That's how we move value at the speed of light for less than a penny. And that is what the new world order, the new payment system is going to look like. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you made it to the end, please let me know. It's went in a little bit longer, but I love you all. Thank you so much for all your support. Hey, we continue, we grow, we learn, we're stronger. Appreciate all of you. Bye.